Now we have Representative Hicks, David Smith labeling bill. If you could please come to the table and present your bill. I will move House File 4194. Representative Hicks, welcome to the Tax Committee. And if you would please present your bill. And then how many witnesses do we have, Representative Hicks?
We have one in the audience, but someone else was on their way. I'm not sure where they're at, so we'll just do what we've got.
Okay, are they for or against the bill?
Four. This
Then we'll
against
wait.
and for.
Then
One
we'll
of
wait.
each.
Yeah, then we'll wait. Okay. So with that being said, we now have, I moved House File 4194 to our bill, Representative Hicks.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you for being a co-author on this bill. This bill is different from the other bills you've heard today. This bill is designed to reallocate how our local option sales tax that was approved can be utilized. In 2023, the Minnesota legislature approved for the city of Rochester to go to the voters regarding sales tax. In that proposal, which the city has provided to you in your packets, you can see what they offered us in 2023. They talk about a regional sports center. In the packets that they provided you today, you will see at the sports center that there is a line there that says the details will be determined with substantial community and stakeholder engagement and in an equity-focused manner. There was no community engagement. There was no stakeholder engagement. There was a decision to proceed with outdoor facilities regardless of input from the community in a location that is not accessible easily by public transit, in a location that does not currently have bike trails attached to it, in a location that is not where our most needy community members live. And the proposal, as they have explained to you in their materials, is completely outdoors. No indoor facilities for community, no opportunity for what they told us would be part of the process. And again, as you can see in the materials they provided to you, they stated to us in 2023 that there would be substantial community engagement. I have been working to try to facilitate and encourage that engagement since that vote in 2023, and I have been unsuccessful. It has not occurred. They are now doing some engagement for an alternative option for community after this bill was dropped, after this solution was brought forth. So I come today to request that my bill be included in the tax bill to allow the city of Rochester's voices to be at the center of this project, as they always should have been. And my testifiers on both sides of the issue are now both present.
Both. How would you like to start out with concerns or?
The city can testify first, please, Chair.
Okay, let's go. First of all, other than the two folks we have to testify, is there anyone else in the audience which testify on behalf of the bill, the Hicks bill, or with concerns?
Oh, Chair?
Yes.
I would like to point out that there's a stack of letters in members' files, folders from community members, and more were still coming in this morning, but that's what I was able to get you prior to hearing.
Oh, and we will get those posted, so people will have that.
Thank you.
If you could please state your name and who you represent for the record, please, sir.
Chair Davids, Chair Gomez, and members of the Tax Committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify. I am Randy Schubring, President of the Rochester City Council.
Welcome to the committee, sir.
Thank you. I want to begin by thanking Representative Hicks for our ongoing conversations on this matter. And while we disagree on this legislation, we share a mutual desire to do what's best for Rochester. I also want to thank the House and Senate Tax Committees for granting the City of Rochester back in 2023 the authority to place 4 Rochester public infrastructure projects on the ballot to be funded with a local sales tax. We are grateful that Rochester citizens approved each of these 4 ballot items when they voted. These projects are underway, and we are proud of the work that has been completed thus far. During the design estimates of the 4 infrastructure projects, we learned that the cost of one of the projects, the regional athletics facility containing both indoor and outdoor facilities, came in far higher than expected. This meant that not all of the components of the athletic facilities project, indoor and outdoor, could be financed with funds contained in the bill. We are building as much as we can with the dollars that were authorized in 2023. We are working within the constraints of the approved legislation. The ballot question placed in front of the voters received a majority of the support from residents at 53%. We ask that the tax committee not create a precedent of overturning local election results. As a community, the city of Rochester takes the needs and desires of the residents of Rochester very seriously. I personally know that Representative Hicks does as well. I'm respectfully opposing this legislation and ask that we work with the tax committee chairs and members, Representative Hicks, and the entire Rochester delegation to address the remaining funding shortfall for the additional athletic facilities components. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify.
And thank you very much, Mr. President. Okay, if you could please state your name and who you represent for the record, please.
Kamal Wilkins.
Welcome to the committee, sir.
Thank you. My name is Kamal Wilkins, and I work with thousands of kids across southeast Minnesota as a coach and youth after-school enrichment business owner in Rochester, southeast Minnesota. I'm here because people who sent me to this building deserve better than what they got. Rochester voters were shown pictures, real pictures, indoor basketball courts, tracks, a 125,000 square foot field house, a four-season community recreation complex. This is Minnesota. So they were sold a vision. They voted for that vision, and then somewhere between the ballot box and the bulldozer, the promise disappeared. What we are getting instead, 8 baseball diamonds in Rochester, Minnesota, where you can use them for 165 days a year in a city that averages 50 inches of snow. We were promised snow boots, and they gave us flip-flops. We voted for that indoor facility, basketball leagues all winter, volleyball tournaments in February, student athletes training for track when it's 15 below, adaptive sports, after-school programming were all imagined, space that working families could actually use every month of the year. 12 months of the year. That's what people voted for. This wasn't a misunderstanding. The city's own pre-vote materials described indoor and outdoor space. A 48-page community recommendation backed it. Then, a 14-member working group met 3 times and somehow redesigned the entire project 3 times. I had longer conversations trying to figure out what documents I needed to get state-issued Minnesota Real ID. The financial model supporting this ballpark is mostly anecdotal, built by people with zero experience in this market, including a California-based operator with zero skin in the game. They won't be here when the bills come due. We will. The people of Rochester did not vote for 8 baseball diamonds. They voted for a community recreation complex. That's what we voted for. What they got was a bait and switch. The city took a public mandate and gutted the part that served everyday families. That is not how public trust works. That is not how our money should work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone from the audience wish to testify for, against, not against, that's such a harsh word, with concerns? Okay, let's go to member questions. Representative Hewitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I know we're in a hurry. Representative Hicks, thank you so much. I think a lot of us think our job is done once these bills pass and once they're done, and then we hand them off to the cities or whatever. But this is exactly what I think our expectations should be of it as a legislator, to make sure that it's followed through, and if you see a hiccup in the process where people that put us here are not getting involved, not doing what they feel is best for their tax dollars, you came back to us, you did the right thing, and I really praise you for that. Thank you so much.
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Chair, for hearing this, and Representative Hicks, thank you. I'm a co-author on this legislation. And I do think, members, that this bill is the most important bill that we heard today. Not because it was Rochester, although I'm very interested in Rochester, but it is a larger point. Can these cities and counties come before us in this committee, what we heard today, and, whether purposefully or not, mislead us on what these projects are going to be? And more importantly than just us in this room, who we represent, can they go back to those communities and mislead our people on what they're going to pay for through when they vote on whether they want to pay this sales tax in their communities? This project immediately doubled in size as soon as it was approved. And immediately, the thing that was most exciting for the people of Rochester, which is more indoor space, was completely taken out. And it's now just for regional tournaments. I hear about this almost daily from my constituents, and we need to stand on principle that when you tell us you're going to do something, you have to do it. You can't misuse the people's money. And that's true for my city, gladly say it, and it's true for all of our public institutions. So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Representative Hicks.
Thank you, Representative Smith. And for the record, I believe that the council passed what they're moving ahead with. No. But the mayor vetoed it, the council overrode the mayor. Okay,
That's correct.
okay, I just want to make sure that's correct for the record. Representative Roach.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Representative Hill, for bringing this. Quick question for you. Was there a non-disclosure agreement signed at any point during this?
Representative Hicks.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Roach.
Yeah, I mean, this just goes to show that seems to be at the local government level, there's, not a lot of transparency. Seems to be happening more and more. So I appreciate you stepping up for your community and representing them and putting this out in the public. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative Roach. If I could please get the name of the other testifier sitting on your right. We didn't get his full name.
Kamal Wilkins.
Wilkins, okay, Kamal Wilkins. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Member questions? Would you like to wrap it up, Representative Hicks? Oh, there you are. Representative Lee,
Yes.
sorry.
Thank you, Chair. No, I'm very short, and also I'm not in your line of sight today.
Well, this
so-
great big guy was sitting in front of you.
Yeah. Sure.
I should talk, huh, Mr. Swanson? Okay, Representative Lee.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And, this is not specifically about this bill, but just generally this issue. My city, the city of St. Paul, recently lost a lawsuit about our lost bill. And so, as a part of this, right, there is this question before us of, what happens after the legislature approves of loss and it goes back to the people and they vote on it. So I don't, have any stake in Rochester like some of my other members. Thank you, Representative.
Representative Lee, Rochester is the center of the universe.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
Just so you know.
Amen, Chair.
Yes.
Third largest city
Cannot
in the state.
disagree with the chair. But so as a part of this, right, the city of St. Paul will be maybe bringing legislation to fix the ruling, and so that's kind of my little preview. But I do think it presents a unique question to us of, the role of the legislature to conduct oversight over lost bills. And what that looks like after we approve them, and so I do just want to put a pin in that for the committee. Thanks.
Representative Lee, the St. Paul situation, is that something we could look at now, or is it going to take some time?
It's my understanding that we can look at it now, and ideally, like we should. So I think we are getting language together.
Why don't you have your people talk to my people, and we'll see what we can do.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. It's nice to have people, isn't it? If you'd like, any other member questions, first of all? If you'd like to wrap up your bill.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you so much, members. It's really hard to disagree with your friends. And many of the people on our city council are my friends. And I advocated for this sales tax. I have a bazillion children who are all involved in a lot of sports, and I hear from families across our community all the time about the lack of opportunities for our community to participate in things, right? We just don't have a lot of recreational space. I was very excited about this sales tax vote. I advocated hard for it here and at home, and I voted for it. And it's not what I voted for. And I think when that happens, we have a responsibility as a legislature to respond appropriately. And so I appreciate your consideration. I recognize that This is not what you heard earlier today from everyone else, but I hope all the bills you heard today and all the local option sales tax that may or may not move forward in the future, that by ensuring that what is stated is what occurs, becomes the precedent and not, and stops happening across our state. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I will move House File 4194. Was that amended? No. Okay. Be later for possible inclusion in the omnibus tax bill.